What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode over here in Hoop Jargon, man. And so, man, listen, man, I want to say happy Friday to everybody out there, no matter where you're tuning in from. So, we got a good show lined up, and I won't be super long with this one. But I did want to lament on this topic because basically what you see right now, you guys see the topic, you see what's going on. It says Skip and Gilbert Arenas are exactly what sports needs. And so, this was basically this live serves as an extension to a premise that I put there about a year and a half ago, as a matter of fact. And so I'll go back and kind of revisit that briefly. But listen, man, I don't know about y'all, but the sports game, as far as from a national standpoint, is kind of getting overshadowed by the Shannon Sharps of the world, the Ocho Cincos of the world. Shout out to Rap God. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, my man. So the independent media has done an exceptional job of usurping that energy that, normally like your classic shows backed by the machine, backed by Fox Network, backed by ESPN, that generally are, serve as the only thing that everybody wants to listen to when it comes to sports. Now, the independent media has come in and given you perspective. Hold on, microphone. Take too hot, baby. So it's come in and it's served as like a beacon to give you raw, real content that real basketball, football fans, and so forward, what we actually are saying at work, at the barbershop, and so on and so forward. All right, my mic ain't messing with me today. But y'all hit the like button on the way in, man. So before we get into a backdrop that I think that you guys would like, showing the new show on Gilbert Arenas' channel, which is called The Arena. I do want to highlight the video that I did last May of 2024. And listen, man, in the actual video, I did get mixed reviews from people. Some people was like, yeah, that makes sense. Some people, it's not so much. So, I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but Hoop Jargon was right. You said I need a new mic. Yeah, man, that mic tripping, bro. So let me first introduce the old video. So again, don't trust my line mouth. On YouTube, everybody just be saying all kind of stuff. I like to provide receipts over him. So y'all hit the like button if you're so courteous. They don't cost you nothing. All right, so we're gonna share screen. Man, StreamYard has changed so much. I'm one of the OGs has been on StreamYard for a little minute. They keep switching little things up. I'm like, hey man, what the hell is this? All right, so here we go. All right, so as you guys can see in this video, come on with these notifications getting in the way. Okay, so as you can see in the video, I'm in the car right now. And so it says Gilbert Arenas is the only man to save Undisputed. This was recorded in March of 2024. Now, at the time, guys, if we remember things in context, is that Shannon Sharp, with a much, controversial, let me put it that way, departure from the Undisputed channel. And so Skip basically was kind of left out there on third base, not really knowing what direction to go into, not really knowing, who his friends were, proverbially speaking, in the media. So he went in with the ensemble cast, approach with Richard Sherman. You brought in Michael Irvin from time to time. You had Keyshawn Johnson, and then you had who am I missing? I think those are the big three he started with. And as we know, your boy, doggone it, why I forget his name? Seahawks, Sherman. Sherman had his issue, so they basically gave him a slow removal from the show, and that's when he ended up bringing in Paul Pierce, so on and so forth. But I could kind of see that Skip was kind of in backpedal mode, as it were. So you need to bring in a guy that has a little more, credibility, a little more relevancy. Because listen, man, I love Keyshawn Johnson, I really do, but nobody wants to listen to Keyshawn Johnson speak. His time is come and gone, and he struggles with basketball takes a lot. And Skip, he likes to cover basketball a lot. Obviously, LeBron James being one of his biggest targets of interest. So it just left a lot of perspective, void on the show, and everybody, it was just too many mics. what's the old adage, man? Is too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. So, but one thing I saw last year is that Gilbert Arenas had an organic channel, and so that's why I named this video "The Prick and the Troll," because both of these guys are pricks, man. Like Gilbert Arenas would say some ill ass shit, and he don't care, man. Like he'll say something, the first thing that comes to his mind. He don't care how it strikes you, from a feeling standpoint. And so will Skip Bayless. And Gil likes to troll. I mean, with Kwame Brown, their love hate. I don't know what the hell they got going, but they always are getting into it, right? So, and Skip Bayless does the same thing. He trolls LeBron James all the time. He loves to troll, Cowboy haters and fans for that matter. So he just kind of all over the place. But the point I'm making is these guys thrive in the realm of, agitation, of getting people's, emotionally invested. So with that being said, I saw this ahead of time. I did. I'm going to play a little bit of that video because if Skip would have, who am I? I'm going to do it on YouTube. But if Skip would have taken that advice and brought him on, when a year and a half ago, Skip had the bigger profile than Gil, I think that would have worked out marvelously. But now that Skip kind of, didn't work out with the ensemble cast, he had to take some time off. Now Gil brought him to his platform. You're pretty much seeing the same thing that I saw back then. So let me play a little bit of that. I'm trying this new little camera setup, so pardon me if it's a little shaky, but we're working on that. Anyway, okay, so let's get into the subject matter at hand. We all know why we're here. Y'all hit the like button the way in, please. So let's talk about FS1 and their dwindling numbers, as Undisputed still has a few problems. Big facts. As we know, your boy Richard Sherman, had a DUI situation about a month ago, and he has not been on camera since that point. So I know, like the old analogy about ducks, how ducks look like they're just gliding across the water, but you look underneath the water, their feet are pedaling like mayhem. I bet dollars to donuts that's what's going on with the FS1 team about what to do with Undisputed. They're not showing their excuse me. They're not showing their hand as if something bad is, befalling their product. But we all know everything ain't all gravy over there. So with that being said, understatement. Gilbert Arenas is the person for the job. Now I hear that Paul Pierce will come on to the show, and Paul Pierce is an interesting selection. I'm not mad at them looking for a person to come in and fill in for a guy like Richard Sherman. Like, as you know, man, he's a little emotional. If you talk about the 49ers, he's a lot emotional. But anything outside of those bounds, or Seattle, just take Seattle and the 49ers out the equation. Richard Sherman is a very good football savant. Absolutely. Basketball takes are not that bad. Not that bad. So that's a big personality to lose, because he also has that anti-Skip Bayless thing that some people who hate watch Undisputed, you want to hear him go back and skip, right? Y'all hit the like button. So that was a good candidate. And I said this, I chronicled this like 8-9 months ago when they first announced the new lineup. Well, they announced that Richard Sherman was coming. Like, that's brilliant, because it's perfect against what Skip is. And people, again, who hate watch Skip Bayless, because hate watching, guess what? They register the exact same. All right, so we'll leave it there. So as I kind of pointed out, man, hate watching and watching for love, they register the exact same. So when people, kind of have a propensity to want to be beloved, listen, people will listen to you to come argue with you. I mean, hell, last stream I had with the Cowboy stream, shout out to the brother on there. He makes it his duty every time I'm live to come talk shit to me. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay. And shout out to Pastor Joint Podcast, or where I actually stream from Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry, Thursday for that matter. Yesterday, Gilbert saved them because their little podcast there. Hey, it is what it is. Shout out to Lavish Scott. Appreciate that. All right, yeah, I'll holler at you on the back end. So setting the background, I said this a year and a half ago, right? So I just, I'm not saying I'm Nostradamus. I'm not saying I'm not in the know-all and be-all of everything. But you can kind of see the tea leaves that Gil had a ascending profile that you could use, you know what I mean, to accentuate his overall, just what they call it, you make an impression on the general media. And so, and Gil, again, he's a guy that he's just very silly. And it's like almost like once he started taking himself, seriously, as far as, having a studio, having an actual schedule and so on and so forth, his natural ability just, shone through. And I make an argument that his frenemy, Kwame Brown, if he just stepped up and made his production better, it'd be just as good. But everybody got their own thing. So I said all to say this. I do want to preview one of the shows where they start talking about the Micah Parsons trade that, as we know, has taken place since last week. And the Cowboys, I got to say, as a Cowboy fan, looked damn good yesterday. But this is, obviously before the game when they were talking about it. So I just want to kind of just accentuate how good and organic this little team has their little their situation. And it's just going to be good going forward. And so, again, to capstone my point or still man my point, if Skip kind of would have had this vision a little earlier, and maybe he talked to him. I don't know. I can't call it. But I think this would have landed very well for him if he would have got on this train first, then waited a year and a half to Gil to come bring him together. Because, again, I think the way that these guys, the polarity of both, they just fit so well. But let's check out a little bit of the show. And then y'all don't hesitate to drop the comments. I'm going to highlight whatever. Super chats are open. Let's get it.
This was the first smart.
Oh, let me say this too. So this is where independent media kind of started. This where and you're going to hear a lot of cursing and stuff. And whereas when normal debate shows, you're on your P's and Q's, you don't get a lot of raw content, a lot of raw speech. The independent media like us, we kind of started where you kind of broke that fourth wall down, where you can kind of speak like you speak amongst the homies at the barbershop or what have you. So you'll see this slowly been creeping into mainstream media, and I think it's the FAA have started to kind of, at least from my vantage point, starting to kind of liberal out the, I guess, tenacity of finding shows for using, 4-letter words or what have you. So I got to say, as a person who I cuss in real life, I do appreciate it. And I know y'all do too as well, as long as it's not excessive. But let's get it.
Bold, ballsy move that Jerry Jones has made in 30 years. And I want to be very clear about this. I am not second guessing this with some lame, weak second guess. I have been first guessing this for 2 long years. I've said overhyped, overrated, and please, Jerry, please don't ridiculously, dangerously overpay Micah Parsons. More trouble than worth, because in the end, he hasn't wrecked a game since his rookie year when he took the league by storm until the league figured out, oh, wait, he's just a finesse, flash and dash, speed, quick.
And let me say this too. This is what makes Skip Bayless so good at his job. He will take the unconventional take with no fear whatsoever, where a lot of guys, especially former players, they have this thing where they don't want to really talk down on other players because, it's a fraternity. And you don't want to be frozen out from a guy who, may give you an exclusive interview that may come and put you on with another teammate. See, Skip, at least from what he's always purported, he's never cared about that. He'll go at you and he'll say what he sees, whether he likes you or not, because Skip will flip on you like a flapjack. So he brings a level of honesty that many guys who are, sports pundits, it's just something that they won't broach. They just won't. And that's why people appreciate Skip's honesty, whether sometimes misguided or not, where sometimes it just makes absolutely no sense. But that's how he feels. He says what he feels.
Rusher, we can run at him and we can neutralize him. And he became a liability against the run. In 4 playoff games, when they got run off the field, Micah Parsons has 1 sack in 4 playoff games.
Yeah, and Zen, I like that comment. So, yeah. So, like Gilbert Arenas and Swaggy P are like best friends in real life. And so one thing that's kind of like the funny part is that how reflexively he kind of, jabbed Swaggy P about how non-serious he is and how he pretty much was a role player. He sucked. again, most other players play nice, but Gil, like I say, that's why I named the show what I named it, is the prick and the troll. Like, he doesn't matter being a prick and calling you to the carpet of how he views you and trolling you with jokes. And, you see him with the different shirts he puts on and stuff. So again, the symbiotic relationship between the two is just right, man. It's right. Y'all hit that like button.
And guess when it came? It came, Tampa Bay, you started there. It came late in a game at Tampa, a playoff game in which the Cowboys were ahead 31-14 against the 8-9 Buccaneers, who had stolen their division because they had a 45-year-old Tom Brady at quarterback. That's his only sack in 4 playoff games, 3 of which he completely no-showed in. The worst no-show of his career was, ironically, against the Green Bay Packers. I don't know, did they not watch this tape? Because he put up the worst numbers of his career against Green Bay in the playoff game. So I'm seeing a guy who...
Oh, Zed, I actually misread that. You said reviving. Yeah, he does that. I mean, he's done that too. Like Swaggy P, you guys don't follow him on Instagram. He's hilarious. He goes live. He gets drunk and goes live. But when he does that, you know how they say, who tells an honest tongue? A baby and a drunk man. He goes on there. He gives very honest critiques of players on his Instagram, when he's a little sauced up, and you can definitely tell he is. So that's why that little synergy works of what they had with Gilbert Arenas. Skip brings in also my man Talib. They bring in a lot more of Talib's case, he brings in applied knowledge. He played at the highest level at cornerback. At one point, arguably the best cornerback in the NFL. With Skip is just a student of the game, and he's gonna come look. He's the only person I've ever seen on this podcast with a goddamn look at him with his notes. Like, Skip don't play around. He got his casual gear up. You know how they say it. He's casual. he's party with the clothes, but business with his notes, because he doesn't mess around. So again, he still has that same type of bombastic nature that Gil has, but he brings the credibility because he's going to work and he's going to give you that unfettered knowledge based on him actually studying and being, just a student of the game and being just maniacal, just to learn every little tidbit, learn every little backstory he can, so he can give you the best that he has. And so if you guys, play sports like me, it's almost like the guy who is not athletically talented as you. He doesn't jump as high, he doesn't lift as much weights as you, but he's gonna come out there and work hard every day. He's gonna go and stay extra, time with coach. Whereas if you're more talented, I can take practice off a little bit. You know what I mean? Skip is a guy who's gonna outwork you, even though he doesn't have the natural talent that you have. Let's go.
Since he came in the league, is 5th in sacks. He's 5th in quarterback hits, which is not bad, until you start saying, wait a second, he cares more about his podcast than he does about winning football games. Yeah. He got blasted by veterans in the locker room for just that. He was not a leader. He's not a cold-blooded killer. He's not a physical football player. And in the end, I say good riddance and good luck to the Green Bay Packers.
And listen, man, that's a hard pill to swallow. So for most people, that's damn near blasphemy to sit there and say that Micah Parsons, you're more trouble than what you worth at 26 years old, because most people are like, hey, you pull the stats up, that's preposterous. You look at his God-given ability, that's preposterous. But I gotta say, guys, on my actual Cowboy podcast that I do before every game, I said this about a year and a half ago too. I said that Micah, I'm tired of hearing all these reflexive, introspective thoughts you have after these losses. Bro, shut your ass up and go in the lab, man. I don't want to hear all this shit. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to just keep it real with y'all. Your little frontal lobe, your little cortex doesn't develop to about 25. Micah just made 26. So, and shout out to my guy, JC, one of my co-hosts. It's like, you intelligent, but you're not wise. Like, I don't want to hear your in-the-moment perspective and all this stuff, bro. You got to go through a few things and learn through trial and error, and then you start to recognize patterns. Just being college smart, that's cool, but for a little more of seasoned fans, it doesn't land. And it's like, bro, what are you doing to be better in the playoffs? And Skip's going to bring this up. Micah Parsons in 4 playoff games, 1 sack. And in the run game, we're getting obliterated. And listen, man, if you guys don't know, people used to run at Micah Parsons. It wasn't like they were running away from him. Now, if they were dropping back and pass, of course, they got their eye on, what number 11 is. But when it came to the run game, they chip him all out. They go straight against him. So Micah's an interesting case because on paper, yes, he's phenomenal. He's crazy. But when you start looking at the dynamics, he's not above reproach. And I think Green Bay is going to slowly find that out. But let's go.
Fair ass, Gil.
Woo. Wow.
Fair ass, Gil.
Hey. He lost me when he said smart. I'm sorry, Skip. I tuned out when you said smart because I didn't know trading a generational talent was actually smart for your franchise.
Listen, say this too. Now,
Look out for the ruthless psycho that authorities.
Gil's football takes are very weak.
Cleveland lost.
Now, this is something that Gil's gonna have to work on. Like his sports was basketball takes are, even though sometimes they're just far left, all out the way, he still speaks from a level of experience that you gotta respect. Now, his football takes, it's almost like a guy who just sits around and plays Madden all day and forms opinions through that. And you're gonna see that they're very empty. And as a guy who I didn't play football past middle school, so I'm just keep it funky. But I did go back and coach middle school. So, I did go and learn how to break down the game on some level. Gil strikes me as a guy who does not know any of that shit. So he's going off of, and you'll see him do this a lot. He'll parallel the NBA to the NFL when he's kind of like missing the part that how they say the shield, nothing's bigger than the shield. And there's 11, excuse me. There's 11 men, on each side of the field, so 22 in total. So there's a lot of more, team-related, cohesion-related things that go on the football field, whereas in basketball, obviously it's 10 people, 5 per team. It's more individual-driven. So I just want to point that out as we keep going because that's something that Gil does kind of struggle with.
LeBron. They sucked until LeBron came back.
Yep.
Shaq left. Orlando wasn't considered anything until, was it Dwight Howard?
Okay.
Then you got the Red Sox, right?
Okay.
They got rid of who?
Babe Ruth. Yeah.
86 years it took them to get back to relevant. So you think you can trade the gold standard of his position? Would you have traded Myles Garrett?
Nope.
Okay. Would you have traded TJ Watt?
In the heck no.
Of course not. But
Nope. Keep going.
But at the same 4-year period, Parson was better.
That's debatable.
He was a better player. He's the only one that's trekking in Reggie White's footsteps with 12 sacks for the first 4 years of his career. I just don't understand when has it actually helped you in your franchise when you let the best player go. And I because he didn't.
See now, Gil, you're not doing your homework. Actually, we talking to Cowboys when you let Herschel Walker go. Within 2 years, you were a Super Bowl contender. So, yes, there's precedent for this. And guess who the owner was who did that? That's one Gerald Wayne Jones. So, yeah, no, is it a common practice? No, but literally on this team, we've seen that approach work, that you can have addition by subtraction. And let's not forget, we got in Clark to be our defensive tackle, a place that we were extremely deficient in. And last night he played well. We also have 2 first-round picks coming. So listen, man, did the defensive line get to the quarterback last night as much as we would like? Absolutely not. But let's be for real. We played against the Eagles, who last time I checked won the Super Bowl last year, right? So all things being considered, all things being equal, it's the verdict is way out to see if giving up your best player, quote unquote, was a not smart thing.
He's not good at the rush.
Stopping the run.
Stop the run.
Yeah.
What does he get paid to do?
Rush that pass.
But the passer, that's his job. Like
Okay.
to get the dude that is his job is not to actually stop the run game. That's not his expertise. He's decent at it, but he's not great. But what he's great at, he does a great job at it. I think last year, he was second or third in percentage wise of putting pressure on the quarterback. This is like blaming Steph Curry because their team couldn't rebound. I mean, it's just you're taking someone out of his element and blaming him for the.
See, you see what I mean? Like it's something Gil has to work on. His logic system runs through NBA player logic, and as we know, we talked about the 5 to 11 effect. That yes, one player like Steph Curry not being able to rebound, yes, that mightily affects the team. But from a football standpoint, it's not the same impact. It's not congruent in that fact. And in fact, if you're on the defensive line, one of your duties is to go and defend the run and defend the pass, right? To make the apples to apples comparison, I'm not expecting Micah Parsons to go get interceptions. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not expecting Micah Parsons to play on the offensive side of football and catch touchdowns. So that's what you call a false equivalency.
The overall success of a defensive assignment, right? His job, he does his job very, very well. It's like buying a Lamborghini and complaining that it's too loud. The job of it is to be flashy and loud, and that's what he did.
So I like that reference point, and I said this on the show yesterday that maybe you don't need a Lamborghini. Maybe you need some F-350 dump trucks to go do some haul work for you. Maybe you don't need that. Maybe, just maybe.
To the best of his ability.
Okay, but did
y'all hit that like button? That costs you nothing, man. That's free. That's free 99, man. So again, super chats are open. If you guys want to have your comment highlight, always do something special for the super chats. Let's get it.
Did LeBron win for Cleveland? Yeah, he took them to the finals. Didn't win the championship the first go around, but right? And didn't Shaq do great things for Orlando? Got them. He took them to the finals, right? Okay. So what did Micah Parsons do to carry Dallas in the playoffs? What did he ever do?
It was in the playoffs for 3 out of his 4 years. I mean, so first you got to get to the tournament to win the chip. You got to enter the tournament.
Agreed. And this is not to lambaste or to disrespect Micah Parsons. Yeah, man, like it's not nothing that he killed it in the the regular season, but we can't also, by that same logic, just overlook some of the not so show up moments in the playoffs.
I mean, first,
all right.
But I'm kind of neutral on it, bro. I'm like, man, hey, Tom got to tell. Tom got to tell if this was a dumb trade, if it was a smart trade, if the Packers come out and send the Cowboys home again and Parsons have a Von Miller-esque run, then it was a dumbass trade.
Yeah.
Now, if
you think that's going to happen?
I don't know. It's everything we talking about is hypothetical with this because you want it to be immediate impact, but the shit just happened. They got like a whole bunch of future stuff for it. So look, if the cap room turned into DeMarcus Ware, Aqib Talib, T.J. Ward, and Emmanuel Sanders like it did for the Broncos, then it's a fucking great trade. If the draft picks turn into Emmitt Smith, Kevin Smith, Russell Maryland, and Darren Woodson, then it's a fucking great trade. But like I said,
big facts. Again, that's why I love this synergy that Talib, he brings in just that raw football knowledge and locker room knowledge too, where it's not, and I'm not trying to pick on him, but Shady McCoy has that same, pedigree, but he kind of plays more of the silly angle, more of the I'm just a offensive guy. Because if you listen to Shady speak, I'm just kind of throwing him out there just to kind of juxtapose, how this commentary is so much better is that he's leaving it open. Like, because we don't know. There's so much to evaluate. You can't take these hardline stances when there's no evidence to prove it. And I love how he's just saying, like, listen, it could be this and give a reference, or it could be that and give a reference. That's called a minutia.
If the Packers have a mean-ass run and he do some Von Miller shit and win the Super Bowl, then it's a fucking terrible trade. So we can't jump the gun. You got to sit back and watch on this one.
So I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but I called it, man. It is what it is. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to my guy Between Game Sports, man. My homie in real life.
So let's get into I'm listening to what everybody's saying. And you said it was a smart by Jerry. Let's get into the psyche of franchises in the NFL.
Right.
Who do they trade with? The Packers. Okay. What did they get? Kenny Clark. The Cowboys got Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks.
Right.
Was it smart by Jerry? Yes. Let me tell you why. Every organization doesn't value draft picks the same.
And shout out to Gerald McCoy, too, been a great member of this ensemble cast. Whereas what you see is guys that they're letting Skip and Gil do the bombast where they are working the middle. Like they are working, again, I played the NFL level. I've seen this, I know this, and they're slow walking their opinions. And it's the perfect little smorgasbord of folk because, again, when you saw Skip with Michael Irvin's on 10 all show long. And if you haven't talked about anything besides the NFL or the Cowboys, Mike is just a whole bunch of nothing. And Mike, I love you, man. I'm just saying, bro. So this is a balance of outward opinions that are still qualified with guys who they're not interested in the bombastic nature of just saying something to get a viral clip. They want to come and share their wealth of knowledge, and it's just like you guys ever been like a symphony, man? You see the conductor doing his thing, and they got the violin going and all that stuff. This is what this looks like to me.
The Green Bay Packers haven't drafted well, but the Green Bay Packers are in win now mode. You know how I know that? Because they broke a 21-year streak of drafting a first-round wide receiver and got Matthew Golden. They know their quarterback needs a number 1 wide receiver. Okay? Last year, they were top 10 in defense, but they were 22nd in pressure rate. The Packers haven't drafted well. So what are they saying? We drafted Devontae Wyatt to replace who? Kenny Clark. We sent him off to Dallas. Dallas needs somebody that can help them stop the run. We're good there. What do we need help with? Pass rush. We don't draft well.
Wholesale Bill is going to
Big
make
game.
you
All right, here we
you
go.
accept the new price, or you get the can again.
It's Friday! Trapped by a psychotic cell phone bill, escape price hikes with Boost Mobile.
I like that, man. While we get back to the next segment.
So draft picks are hit or miss.
So again, Gerald's is knocking out the park because every team does not treat every asset the same. Some players love to build through the draft. I'm sorry, some teams. Some teams like to acquire talent. Let's move it over to baseball. The Yankees, their farm system isn't their strong suit. Or the Dodgers, they go buy players from other teams. Dodgers going getting Shoti Ohtani. I know I just butchered his name. Mookie Betts, you name it. Yankees going to get A-Rod over the years. Going to get I think they got Rivera from the Red Sox. So this is what, certain teams have different philosophies. So with a team that's shown like the Dallas Cowboys, that they're not big free agent plungers anymore. They used to be that about 20 years ago. Now the Cowboys are built through the draft with Will McClay and Stephen Jones. They do a phenomenal job with that. They don't miss often, right? So 2 late round draft picks, you can have a top draft pick, but guess what? If you pick the wrong person, it's irrelevant. And we know that little danger area is like around from like 6 to 12, where a lot of guys can, they are first round measurables, but they may not be able to live up to that standard, right? So if you're really good at what you do, you can knock it out with the pick 22, pick 28, and so on and so forth if Green Bay is that good. So again, I got to give Jerry his flowers, man. That was a great way to kind of break it down because most what you call casuals, they only look at the highlight part of a take. They don't necessarily consider some of the the minutia of it. Whereas, it may be a low first round pick, but if this team does really well drafting in that area, it's a good pick.
But you know who's not hit or miss for what we need? Micah. He specializes in what we need. In Dallas, over the last 4 years, they've averaged giving up 122 yards on the ground. in November, in December, in the NFL, in order to win, Keith has won a Super Bowl. He knows you have to run the ball and stop the run. The Cowboys have.
Thank you, sir. The Cowboys struggle here. Going back to Los Angeles Rams, where they ran for like 219 with Todd Gurley and your boy Mike Anderson, who just came off the couch, old as hell, ran the ball down our throats. San Francisco done it twice, right? So, yeah, man, that's a real take. We have trouble stopping the run. Micah's not a run stopper. So, come on now. We're solving a need, man. There's a such thing called addition by subtraction, believe it or not.
I've been horrible at that. So now let's switch to Jerry's mindset as the Cowboys. Jerry said we need to be better at stopping the run. This makes us better. The Cowboys value draft picks. You know how I know that? Because they draft well. Since 2019, CeeDee Lamb, All-Pro. Trevon
I said that before. I knew he would say that based on how he said it, his statement.
Diggs, All-Pro. Michael Parsons, All-Pro. Tyler Smith, All-Pro. Deron Bland, All-Pro. You can
keep going. Travis Fredericks, All-Pro. Tyler Biadasz, All-Pro. Dallas know what the hell they doing, man. Yeah, they may miss on the Taco Charlton instead of getting TJ Watt. Listen, man, it is what it is. Nobody bats 1,000, but he naming off guys in the last like 8 years. It's not like he going 20 years back to lament to this. He talking about right now.
All the way back, the Cowboys draft well. So Jerry said our team got better because now we save money. We got 2 first-round picks, and we got Kenny Clark to help us now. Let's be real about this. They weren't going to be that good anyway. So we're giving up Michael Parsons. He's been here this whole time. We still can't stop the run. To answer your question, you said he's a pass rush specialist. In football, for the most part, he's going to specialize on third down. If you're in 3rd and 2 or 3, they're not going to pass the ball. So why are we going to pay this guy all of this money? Because Mike getting paid at the highest we've ever seen, non-quarterback, is not based off him being the best defensive player in football. It's based off, it's his time. This is the market, and he's up.
Right.
So we have to think about that too. Jerry's not saying this, they 2-3 years into the contract. Now, forget that. We paying this guy right now because look at what he's paying him the money was going to pay him because it's the time now. So I agree. When Jerry says we just got better, whether Michael was here or not, it did not change our defense. He was a pass rush specialist. Skip is not lying. Micah doesn't play the run well. I watch defensive linemen. They run right at him.
I'll tell you.
He's not taking on blocks. He's overlaying stuff, and it's not slowing anything down.
Did Von Miller play the run well?
No, but you know who did? Pot roast.
Yeah.
Malik Jackson,
that's the point. It ain't Parsons' fucking job to play the run well.
Okay, but listen.
Get somebody.
So listen, man, this is that straight talk that people are afraid to give the Cowboys credit for or afraid to critique Michael Parsons on. That, listen, as sensational as he is rushing the pass, he is suspect with run defense. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. And shout out to new channel member Ceci Gomez becoming a YouTube member. Appreciate you. Appreciate you so much. Now, normally I got my video presentation go, but StreamYard kind of messed me up and they took all my old video things I have, but I got something special for you next stream, Ceci, when you pull up. So thank you so much for being a part of the Hoop Jargon family. Much appreciated. All right, let's go.
People that play the run well, but in big games, did Von Miller tear that shit up and leave the stamp on it?
In games.
That's what Parsons type guys are for.
Listen what you just said, though. Who was over there? You was there.
Yeah.
Chris Harris was there. TJ was in the back. Y'all had a full defensive.
As I kind of wrap on this, and you guys kind of have the sentiment of what I'm talking about here, about, you know, how good this product is. There's no parts here that are like kind of unlistenable because someone's kind of going off on a tangent, whereas it's not connecting to reality, or it's kind of going counter to like the synergy or the flow of the conversation. Everybody's kind of chiming in and it flows. Even though they may not agree, it may be some stark contrasted of other opinions, but everything flows. So my whole point to bring everything on back to the original assertion is this should have been going on the Fox network 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago for that matter. Skip Bayless should have got Gil over there, but as it stands, both of them, the pricks and the trolls, is working out wonderfully. And I'm happy to observe this, because I don't care if I like you or dislike you or your team affiliations or what have you. I want good sports content. That's what drives me. I know a lot of y'all, that's why a lot of people don't watch the NBA, because the personalities are being dishonest. I got to say it. People like Draymond Green, they make it to where you can't critique anybody. Jalen Rose will not critique anybody. So we're watching, as people call us old heads, it's fine. But we're watching the game, and a dude will pass up an easy layup to go step back three when it's just totally unnecessary, right? These kind of things take away from the product. And then when it's time to critique them, the only guys who will do it is Shaq and Chuck. Sometimes Kenny, right? But those guys get put in a corner like, oh, well, they just hating. The old heads just hating. Nah, Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq are way older than me. And listen, they talking music to my ears. And here's the last part. People my age, I'm 41 years old. I go buy shit. Like this Laker championship jersey, I bought it from downtown LA after we won. I went to the Foot Locker and bought it with some J's with the purple, black and purple, the Jordan 12s, I want to say. Like, I will go spend money to support the Lakers. I'm not just gonna freeload and have my parents maybe buy me something or go buy the cheap gas station Laker apparel. No, I'm gonna go buy the real Laker apparel, right? Cowboy apparel. I'm gonna go buy the real cowboy apparel. So when you alienate, what people my age want, which is the later millennials, and you start to placate to the younger crowd, which is not a bad thing, but when you over placate to that crowd, listen, these people won't go spend money on a ticket. These people don't go to games. So it's like, what master are you really serving, if that makes sense? But that's all I got here, man. And shout out again to Ceci being the latest Hoop Jargon members. So you guys, listen, if you like the channel, subscribing costs nothing. Hit the like button. That helps out with the algorithm. And I'll start doing these more frequently. I see you guys did enjoy the show, so I appreciate y'all being a part of, what I do over here. Because in real life, I live a busy life. So, I know some people on YouTube got all day, every day. I don't have that. But I do see you guys appreciate the content, so I do want to keep it pumping. So till next time, that's all I got. Hope you guys have a phenomenal Friday. And I'm about to hit the work in a little bit. So to that transpires, peace.